Like life is harsh. It's harsh. If man can sit here and draw out Zinchenko, we can say Saka had a bad game. People who have played ball know how hard it is to keep your standards in the 90th after an intense game. Bro, 87th minute. Martinelli does need to learn to play with his head up. Davies said, long time DG just joined, so I'm keen to know your thoughts on whether we can do it. City games are much easier, I think. Advantage City. I think little incidences where Holding is being pressed facing his own goal and he panics and kicks it out. Saliba would have the control. Exactly. You're right there, man. You're right there. But at the same time, and I spoke about it yesterday, there were times you wanted Holding to back himself a little bit. Like you said, Holding's risk safety first, innit? Sometimes I actually think at times it was kind of harming us. Sometimes he's putting it out for a throw. I like that because I like players to have self-awareness. If you know you're not built for that, pull it out, innit? But you are right. There's a couple times where Saliba might lose the ball, but he might back himself, do a little cute turn, get us further up the field. But we knew Saliba weren't a thing. We knew he weren't a thing yesterday. You are right. You know, I think we need to bring a right back and a centre back, have a new right-sided centre back that covers Holding spot, have the luxury of Benjamin White and Tomiyasu abilities to play centre back, and we take it from there, really. Because now we're at the last hurdle in the season, bro. There's certain players you would love to be available, but we go. Guys are saying if Martinelli gets the pass right and Saka scores, VAR go check the incident with Salah and give a pen. What do you think? Huh? I don't understand that, my guy. I think respectfully, I don't understand that. Maybe I'm not following, but I beg you, put that in some other terms. I don't get it. I don't get it. But yeah, away from that though, folks. Away from that, let's look at what's going on in the tabloids, people. Apparently, Balogun wants to leave Arsenal this summer if he's not the first choice. Go on about your business, brother. But anyways, let's see exactly what is being said. Where do we start? Where's the Athletic article? Let's actually start with this part, really. I think this was interesting. Clubs lobbying Premier League to block national state linked takeovers. So people are tired of, states buying clubs, which I think is funny, where you've got a stadium called Fly Emirates, so you can say that. But a group of Premier League clubs are lobbying to block takeovers closely linked to national states. Apologies. Although the subject is not yet being discussed at shareholder meetings, a sentiment is building among senior figures from a number of top flight sides, with Arsenal's executive vice chair, Tim Lewis, a strong voice in conversations. So you're the eyes and ears for Kroenke. We're trying to monopolize the team, stop other clubs growing. There are growing concerns over the impact of perceived state ownership on the competitive balance of the league in European football. Listen, anyone should be able to invest. Of course, they should be concerned if United get bought, Paris Saint-Germain, cities. But people can look and say, Stan Kroenke, you got Walmart dynasty and things. Who are we to say things? Let's be honest. We just don't, the top six just want to keep it the way it is. Let's be 100% honest, people. But yeah, that's that. More interestingly, Pep is playing mind games, fires title warning to Arsenal. He said, I love it. What has he said? Being again in the quarterfinals in Europe is a moment to enjoy. Where is the stuff about Arsenal? I'm too nervous to even read that, people. I'm sorry, I'm too nervous. Arsenal's Balogun puzzle. Arsenal continued their quest for the Premier League title in a pulsating 2-2 draw at Liverpool on Sunday, as Gabriel Jesus maintained his strong form post-injury with a third goal in 2 games, picking him up. The striker's return to prominence comes at a good time for Mikel Arteta's men, with backup forward Eddie Nketiah out due to an ankle injury and prospect Balogun out on loan. Balogun, who bagged his 18th. Shortly before Arsenal kicked off at Anfield, Balogun scored a stoppage time penalty to earn Reims a point at home to Brest, with the 21-year-old's 18th goal in 29 Liga starts. When his spell in France finishes this summer, Arsenal face a significant call. Balogun wants to continue operating as a first-choice striker and would like nothing more than to do so with Arsenal. Balogun, I don't blame you. You've been given, as I keep saying, you've been given a taste of first-team football. It's difficult, really. It's very difficult to go back. First-choice forward? Probably not. If Balogun wants to leave, sell him, reinvest, bring in a top forward, even though I don't want Balogun to go, whom he joined at the age of 8. But given the seniority and the contractual lengths of Jesus and Nketiah, both until 2027, he is unlikely to earn regular first-team football in North London next season, or footballer, as it said. He is also opposed to the idea of a third temporary switch, having moved to Middlesbrough for the second half of last season. So if he thinks he can be Arsenal's number one, go and show it for the first half of the season or so under Mikel Arteta. If not, get rid of the Don. But as I said, He's contracted until 2025. We need to think about renewal. Balogun is nearing the last 2 years of the deal he signed in 2021 and does not want to extend those terms, which is no reflection on his ill feelings towards Arsenal, but rather the situation. I don't blame Balogun. Go and get some first team football and play on a serious platform. It is a stance influenced by the fact that major European sides, including AC Milan, Inter Milan, Marseille, Monaco, and Leipzig, are in pursuit, and they can offer a starting breath. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know if that's necessarily guaranteed at Inter or AC for as long as he joined there. Balogun is known to be attracted by such opportunities as he ponders the next step in his career, with the chance to test himself in a new environment on a permanent basis said to carry appeal. It means Arsenal must decide whether to sanction a sale or allow Balogun, who has repped England and United States youth sides, to enter his final 24 months at the Emirates Stadium. We'll have to see exactly what's going on. My prediction for yesterday was right. DG Shirley, what's the lottery numbers? Use your fortune telling skills for some good stuff. Maybe we can buy Arsenal some players. We didn't have an 8 to come on for Xhaka having a bad game and a right back to bring on for White, still lacking in key areas. He could get into the Inter team, to be fair enough. Good, you know, he's got my. I don't blame Balogun. From a neutral, minutes are currency. You've been exposed to first team, feeling of importance, 18 league goals, rubbing shoulders with certain players that we can only dream of, Neymar, Messi, all these things. I don't blame him. For Arsenal, control the situation. In the ideal world, he signs a new deal and either is given a chance next year or he goes back on loan. If that's not a thing, you don't necessarily have to sell him. He's contracted until 2025, but he'll have a year if we wait a year, a year on his deal. If we wait till the summer of 2024, get it done. Someone that's played 10 times for Arsenal, who I think has a great future, but we don't know how good he's going to be. If he wants to leave, he's played about 10 odd times for Arsenal Football Club. If you can get 25, 30, 40, 50 million, reinvest that, that's a great success story from the academy. Not everyone can make it, man. Ramsdale was man of the match yesterday. Arteta needs to take full blame for that loss. Winning away at Anfield and no subs until the 80th minute. Absolute nonsense game management. He has to hold some of it, but he's never alone, man. Personally, don't think a move away from Arsenal will be the best choice for Balogun, but wish him well if that's what he chooses. Why not? Because if he can go somewhere, bro, Inter Milan, AC, there's some sexy clubs, potentially Monaco and Leipzig, Marseille. They will love him because they know they're offering first team football, potentially in European and Champions League football since he'd be there, and they'll sell him at a profit. Arteta in isolation did not cost us the game. Every single player cost us the game. We win and we lose and we draw together. Arteta subs, not heeding lessons at the end of the half. Benjamin White not being aware of where Firmino is. Zinchenko could have done better. We could sit here and all do this blaming thing. Martinelli could have nicked it for us. We could sit here and all do this idiotic blaming thing. Come on, man. These play parts. But if we're sitting here saying across a 90-minute game, one man or one individual's to blame, ignorance is bliss. Conflicted in Balogun. Would love to keep him, but I don't know if his value will ever be higher because we can't give him the minutes. Where do you see Arsenal ending next season? I don't know, man. We need to get through this year, my guy. Big up Manny. Dzeko is old. To be fair, Lukaku won't stay. Bro, could you begrudge Balogun for wanting to join AC or Inter? AC, who are injecting new blood. You've got Giroud and Ibra. They're not going to be there forever. Inter Milan, a fantastic big club. I can't begrudge him for wanting to move and play first team football. If the academy keeps pumping them out a bit like Chelsea, we can't keep them all. And the thing is, Balogun might leave and we say, oh boy, we made money, that was good. Or he might leave and we say, boy, why did we sell him? If Balogun's is a means to an end, buying him means we can bring an upgrade up front to help Jesus and Cole. Why not? Because if I'm honest, when we remove the emotion from Arsenal, I can't lie. For me personally, I think we could do with another striker. I think we need 2 centre mids. I think we need a right back, a right-sided centre back, potentially a left back if Tini wants to leave, even though Tini should not be allowed to leave. You can see why one thing can't fix everything for 38 Premier League games yesterday as well. Balogun needs to stay put and Arteta needs to show him love. Arteta probably will show him love, but at the end of the day, bro, Arteta needs to look after his job first. Everyone can't get shown love. Balogun's not an idiot, even as Arteta. Your third choice striker right now. You probably could lack Eddie. You've got Trossard to compete with. Everybody can't get a chance. If life was fair, we'd all have a lot less, unfortunately. So I see both ways. I don't think there's a right and wrong way to move. I would love Balogun to extend his deal so we can control everything. But if he stays, if he goes, from a selfish point of view, if I'm Balogun, I'm having a conversation with Arteta. I'm on this conversation, like assuming the season ended now. Gaffer, where do I fit in your plans? You told me to develop as a man. I think I have. I've got 18 goals. You're too strong. I know Jesus has been injured, Gaffer, but Jesus and Eddie, they can't talk to me about goals. What did they have that I don't? Okay, you want me to be better at pressing. You want me to offer better angles. Let me work on that. How realistic minutes am I going to get this season? If the Gaffer says, boy, I'm going to go strong in the champs, I'm going to go strong in the league, cool. take it from there? Do you say, actually, Gaff, I want to go on loan again, or I actually want to thank you, but I want to leave? Or do I sit there and say, you know what, I'm gonna give it till January? You know, for a while, I'm probably not gonna get minutes, but when you know, once it gets to the turn of the year, approaching the end of the year, the games are coming thick and fast. Rotation, injuries, fatigue, these things start playing a part. Because even then, you could see there was a need for 3 strikers this season. Balogun would have got first team football in significant amounts this season if he stayed at Arsenal, in my opinion, but he would not have got the minutes he's got at Reims. You know, he probably would have had to wait for Eddie to lose his spot. And it's not even just the 2 strikers. You've got Trossard and Martinelli now. Who knows? But the academy needs to pump, sell Eddie, keep flow. I hear that, but in Eddie's defense, you know, he's done quite well. And you know what? If you switch the roles and say, boom, Eddie's over there at Reims, I'm not saying that he shouldn't, that he would or wouldn't, but I think Balogun scores that many goals for Reims with that many minutes. I mean, Eddie and Ketia. And if Balogun was doing what Eddie's doing right now, I'm not too sure. I think it's a shiny new toy. And I'm not saying any of you lot here, but let's be real. Let's be absolutely real. The same some of the people that are clamoring for Balogun to stay, they'll be the first to turn on this young man. The dynamics of playing for an Arteta team and a Will Still team are completely different. Being a striker at Arsenal is very different. Obviously, Bear Dons are not watching Balogun week in, week out, second in, second out. Really. All right, boxing. I agree with you with the Arteta thing. I'm just saying, I can't sit here. I think it's very ignorant to just say it's Arteta or just say it's Zinchenko or just say it's this guy or that guy. I do think I agree with you. The changes, you know, you could see it the minute we've conceded. Now Tini's coming on. We should have done that a bit more. Arteta used to be very proactive with them things there. Eddie scoring bare goals in league. I'll smash the like button if you haven't, folks. I did hear that with Valverde, and you know what? If that Donny really did say that about Valverde, I'm not saying it's right, but you deserve that. Once again, Balogun is refusing to go on loan again. And we got to remember, this is paper talk. We got to remember, we don't know. I think Balogun and Arsenal, they're all conflicted. Should we stay or should we go? Right now, it's not the time to talk. Indirectly, there's probably talks going on. Balogun needs to focus on Liga this season. We need to focus on what's left. Then after that, the time to talk. But Balogun's done all he can. You need to go out on loan and develop. You've done that. I don't blame Balogun if he doesn't want to go on a third loan. You know, you've gone Middlesbrough, you've built on that and gone Reims. You could go on loan again, but if you want more stability, I can't blame Balogun for that. From a neutral point of view, I can't blame him. As long as we get top dollar, I don't mind really. So yeah, I think Balogun's got a higher ceiling than Eddie, but I don't know that. I think right now, Eddie and Ketia, away from scoring goals, is ahead of Balogun in terms of speed of thought and everything he's doing. Brother, man of time, I don't know the Kyrgios thing. I agree with you. The subs were mad, but what I would say in Arteta's defense, not that I'm defending or anyone, just another perspective, bro. If they're on the bench, you have to use them. If they're not, if they cannot, and I agree with you, as I said, if they're to go away from our own logic, bro, if they're on the bench and man can't, what are they on the bench for if you can't use them? I did Kyrgios. I'll be pretty sure who saw that madness from Kyrgios. Fair enough, he literally just came on the pitch, but he stepped out and absolutely clattered someone. Kyrgios looks very raw. Even the fact of, you know, even if I'm playing devil's advocate, did it have, and I thought it needed to be a back three, but yesterday, did it have to be a back three? A big reason for Kyrgios was hearing, yo, you can play left back, you're a left-sided centre-back primarily, you spent a year for Spezia playing defensive mid. Could Arteta have said, you know what, Partey, Kyrgios, 2 6s, Odegaard or someone play in front of them? I don't know. I think Balogun is unfortunate that the team's gone up levels in the time he's been out on loan. Would have been more space for him if this was just before Jesus signed. Yeah, one thing Eddie, Saka, Smith Rowe all benefited from is that we took a while to rebuild. It's going to definitely be difficult for more young players to bust through because we're actually doing all right now. Bro, 30 seconds and he crashed someone. I like it from Kyrgios, but he looks too... I don't want to judge a man on January, but you look like Arteta said with Charlie Patino, you've got to, he said with Charlie, he's got to be slow. You got to be slow. Curry got to be done before, you know, you will take longer than Curry go. And that tells you everything. Like Kyrgios needs to pattern. I think it's more mental. Again, football's universal. I don't know his grasp on the English language, communication with teammates and that jazz. Arteta has to hold his hands up. I think this, and I think with Arsenal, I think subs have made an impact, more so since Trossard signed. But I think what I've seen under Mikel Arteta at Arsenal so far, and definitely this year, in that we can have a game plan. We can go out there and match people. We can work on something all week. But once there's spanners thrown in the works, sometimes we don't always react to it. I'm not sure, DG. You know, I feel like Balogun looks more clinical and Reims don't really create that many chances. But if he wants to go, can't keep him. I hear that. But I just reckon Eddie scores a handsome amount of goals. I think Eddie's ahead of all the other stuff Arteta wants, but Balogun has scored more goals than him, and strikers got to be able to do that. I would rather I want to give Balogun a chance. I think it's a shiny new toy thing, but if a man says, I want to go, I want to be my own man, I love Arsenal, I want to break through, I want to be the next Haylender, but I need to look at this without emotion and do what I need to do to get a best player, then to be the better player, then it is what it is, you know. Even a couple of younger players, you know, Kion Edwards, Mika Berev, you know, almost said Amari Hutchinson, he's left us, Charlie Patino, Brooke Norton Coffey, Waters, not everyone's going to bust through here. But as long as the academy can bring through players and make peas, that's calm, especially if we're making, you know, again, I don't know. Let's just say we sold Eddie and Nketiah for 20, 25, 30 million, Balogun for 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 50 million. You know, we're doing what we need to do. Big up yourself. You're April's baby. My birthday is on Thursday. So big up the Aries gang. My birthday today. Shame Arsenal couldn't get all 3 points, but better than last year when we lost 3 games in a row. Shout out to yourself on behalf of everybody listening. Happy birthday to you. Interesting talking points. But that's that with Balogun, people. What's this? Pelagati confirms Arsenal's interest in Diaz and suggests Milinkovic-Savic swap deal. The Milan management would like to keep Diaz and they would like to start negotiating as if he were a nude signing. Forget the option to buy and buy back. Milan start at 16 million, but there's another variable. It seems that Arteta, the current Arsenal manager, likes the player a lot. The Gunners could offer 30 million. In this case, the negotiation would become complicated. There are many variables, but Milan would like to keep him. So what does this mean in relation to Sergej Milinkovic-Savic? It seems like Lazio like Rebic, and there's a player there who could make everyone at Milan happy, Sergej Milinkovic-Savic. So that could be that. Flo will change his mind when he's back, putting pressure on Arteta. Nothing wrong with that. Listen, if I was a gaffer, you can't put pressure on me with that. And I don't think Arteta, Arsenal, Balogun, they can afford to make a decision. I think when May, June comes, everybody sit down, we have a conversation. Where are you at? What do you need to do? Too eager, I get it though. You want to shine for the chance to get it. Does coach for the chances you get does need coaching. You know, Balogun's, I love it though. I love it from Balogun, really. He doesn't want to sit on his laurels. And as bro, minutes are currency. Once you've been exposed to playing, scoring in top leagues, playing Messi and them, man, bro, you don't want to go back to sitting on the bench. But that's something he would have to, even if he joins into AC and they become clubs that they want to be, you're gonna have to hold bench at some point. But nonetheless, Arsenal and Chelsea in 5-club transfer battle to land son of ex-Premier League star. Manchester City rookie Kyan Brickin, is on the hit list of a host of Premier League clubs. The 19-year-old is the son of former Nottingham Forest centre-back Ian. The likes of Liverpool, Chelsea, Arsenal, Spurs and Southampton have all watched the midfielder in action. However, only a sizable bid could tempt City to sell. He has played 21 times in Premier League 2 for the City's 21s this season. He's got 7 goals and 4 assists, so that's more of a development signing, really. At 19, you better be within the next 18 months from that point ready to blow into the team. Again, this could be a boost for Arsenal. Apparently, Barcelona have ruled out the signing of Zubiamendi. It's impossible due to the player's high release clause of 60 million. Arteta. Patience is very key. Patience is key, but it's one of them where patience is a virtue, but too much patience can hurt you. Word to Young Spree. Like, how do you be patient? Because again, if I'm Balogun, I'd want to stay Champions League. Hey, Len, Arteta believes in you. Signed a new deal, but you've got Trossard, Martinelli, Eddie Nketiah, Jesus. Maybe Arsenal bring in at least another wide man or a striker, and there's only certain amount of dons that can be on the bench. Think about it logically, you know, if everybody's fit and we bring in some midfielders that we need to, like let's just say we got Caicedo and Declan Rice. 2 of the 4 between them two, Xhaka and Partey, have to be on the bench. You're going to have Tini and Tomiyasu on the bench. You're going to have a goalie on the bench. You know, you can only have so many attackers. So indirectly, whether you're a winger, a cam, a striker, there's only so many. And there will be games, but there can't be too many frequent games where Fabio Vieira, Reece Nelson, Eddie Nketiah, Balogun, and next on here on the bench, really. You are right. Patience is and that's why I would love for Balogun to sign a new deal, because strikers peak late. I don't think we're in a scenario where we should draw conclusions. You are right on Saliba. But again, it's noise. We heard Saliba's going to leave. He wants to go, blah, blah, blah. For me, ideally, bro, I'm trying to give Balogun a new deal. You might as well hit Crystal Palace. They ain't got no strikers. If you can't play there, there's something wrong. You must can get minutes there. I know some people are screaming Brighton. I think Brighton, I don't know if you're guaranteed. You're never guaranteed minutes, but I don't know if you're guaranteed. Thanks for the early birthday wishes, man. I appreciate that. Saliba was a kid. Balogun is at the age where he needs to be playing. Now he's 22 now, isn't it? So he's turning into his own. But as I always say, we shouldn't draw conclusions. I hope Balogun can be mentioned in these strikers' names, but I'm not saying he's on their level either. But just for argument's sake, you know, our former captain, Aubameyang, what was he doing in the game at 20, 21, 22? Where was Harry Kane? Jamie Vardy, where was he? Strikers peak late, man. We don't know. I don't quite think he'll be the next Saka. He could be amazing. Me personally, I'd rather just buy a new striker. I'd rather buy a new one and have Balogun, the option of Balogun one day. It's a lot of pressure. I'm not saying you, Ras, but some people that are waffling and clamoring for Balogun to start, they'll be the first to get onto him when he doesn't put chances away. Jesus has been great for us. He gets it. Martinelli got a goal and assist and had a great game, having a great season. Man are saying that he shouldn't get man. You were saying he shouldn't get man of the match because he made a clear pass. The dynamics are very different. And what I would implore everyone, are you watching consistent 90 minutes of Balogun? Don't just tell me about goals. Tell me about the actions. What's his pressing like? How good is he at his worst? How good is he when he's not scoring? These are the things, because you look at it, Jesus has shown he can still affect games. Jesus has shown he still affect games. I'm not saying he can't, but this is the reality if you're going to push into it. You need to get a good relationship with the wide man, like how Trossard and Martinelli had, or Jesus and Martinelli or whoever. You need to be able to affect games without necessarily scoring. But one thing I like about Balogun, he's correlated, at least for this year, whether he's a one-goal wonder or not, he's correlated the ability to score at youth level to first team. As I said, again, I don't want to be harsh on the French league, but there is a bit of a tact. Jesus, injury or not, Jesus and Nketiah, obviously they probably haven't been given the minutes Balogun has, but them two ain't scored more goals than Balogun. Goals win games, innit? And I don't want to give up on Balogun yet. If someone makes me a mad, one love for the happy birthday man at a time as well. If someone makes me an offer you can't refuse, then it's different. The only thing that tips the balance is Balogun says I want to go and his contract's running out. It's evil, but Arteta, you need to be gassing Balogun, you know. You need to be gassing him. For me, tell Balogun everything under the sun. Tell Balogun everything. Yeah, you're gonna sign a new deal, bro. You're gonna play, you're gonna do this, you're gonna do that. I promise you, just give me time. I'm gonna take Jesus out the tank because he does seem like a bit of an intelligence seeker and seems like he just wants the arm around the shoulder. Do that once he signs the new deal, don't really matter now, does it? So we'll have to see. We don't know. But that's why, Ras, for me, if Arteta wants to sign a striker that is more ahead of the game and a bit like Jesus takes us to another level, I'm for it. I can't lie, which Balogun, unfortunately, be an issue. We need to be like City, be comfortable selling young top talents, but keep a buyback clause, a sense of security if they get that elite level ceiling. They did that with Lavia, where people want Lavia this year. His release clause for City becomes active next year. And obviously, we'll have to watch closely what happens with Southampton in terms of staying in the division. DJ, if we get two midfielders in the summer, you have money for one position. What one you choosing and why? Right back or centre back or wingers? You're being harsh, man. You can't really. So we got the two midfielders. Probably right back, you know. It's a tie, man. I think right back and a winger, because if you could find someone that's multifunctional like Trossard, then I think you do it. You know, someone that can play wide up front. I'm all for bringing in another winger, better than what we have, with the exception of Saka, or bringing in a striker or someone that can do both. If you sign a right back, which I think we need, then you've still got Tomiyasu and Benjamin that could fill in there. Hopefully, there's no injuries. Doubt it will happen, but if Leicester go down, we should go for Maddison. We'll take Maddison. Just don't feel you necessarily need to move for that. Been watching Balogun properly this season. I think he's a better bagsman than Eddie, but Eddie's all-round game is better right now. Not surprising considering Eddie's older and been more exposed. I agree. Someone that's actually watching. Balogun has been great in front of goal, but he still needs to improve all areas of his game before he gets the sniff. And that's Balogun's where you expect him to be. He's a young man. He's learning, innit? So yeah, brings Zubiamendi to the carpet. Never seen this done, but Arsenal want to take Flamingo midfielder Matheus Gonçalves to England as soon as the player becomes 18. An offer is coming in the following days for the 17-year-old. Bring him. Brazilian, that's all I need to see. Bring him. Bring him. I could tell he's wavy. I'd never seen him play, but come on, man. Your name can't be that and you're not wavy, man. It can't be. Actually, what I tried to do, why is it not? I want to see if there's anything else on the social. Smash the like button if you haven't. 4:30 people. Make sure you follow me on Kick. Apparently, Arsenal want to keep Reece Nelson and are hopeful of an extension, but his pathway at Brighton is clearer, and the move to Brighton is an attractive proposition for Reece Nelson. So we're letting money go. Nelson can get gassed, man. Don't let Liverpool sign Barella. We're not getting involved. We better be getting involved in this. Give them the bread for Barella. Probably get a couple of red cards. Where's this Reece Nelson thing? Right. Dele Alli doing up balloons and that. He's gone outside, bro. Where's that Reece Nelson thing? Where is that Reece Nelson thing? I need to find that, man. Reece Nelson. I can't find what we just read there. Anyone got a link? Reece Nelson, Brighton. Let me type in Brighton. I want to read that. We might as well. We know he's wanted by Brighton. Let me change this on Google to the last hour. All right, let's see what this is about. Big up you lot for tuning in. Hope you lot enjoying your bank holiday if you're in the United Kingdom. Yeah, Arsenal in talks with Reece Nelson over new contract as Brighton and European club circle. We know this. But we heard Arsenal in talks. Again, it looks like I'm unable to find that article, people. I don't know where that's come from. Where is it gone? So yeah, man, I don't know where that's come from. But nonetheless, I hate being thrown these spanners in the works, man. Male sport. So yeah, it's looking like we can. That's what we've got. So yeah, moving away from that, we've covered that. Arsenal ready to walk away from Declan Rice deal if it's too expensive. I mean, this isn't anything new. It makes sense, but for what it's worth, it's been described to me as a lot more open. I can't even see. It's been described to me as a lot more open the race to signing. We've been hearing Arsenal are well ahead and laying the foundations. They've got a better chance. But the reason I'm told this is Arsenal aren't prepared to pay the high fee that they're being quoted by West Ham for Rice at the moment. So that leaves Chelsea very much still interested in this race because they would be prepared to pay whatever it takes. Fair enough. Just make sure that come the end of the summer, we've got a 6, we've got an 8, we've got a right back. Rafinha links again. What's this saying? We know Edu had some conversations. I think there's a possibility they could revisit the situation with Rafinha. It seems Arsenal sporting director Edu is a huge admirer of his fellow Brazilian. A lot will depend on what's going on at Barcelona this summer. If they need to sell players to raise funds, which it looks likely, Rafinha could be made available on the market, and I'm sure they will PK Arsenal's interest if they feel they can land the former Leeds man on a cheap deal. Fair enough. We keep hearing this BS, but fair enough. Let's see what's going on over here. Arsenal entered the race to sign Baku. Aston Villa, the latest club link with Reece Nelson, could link up with Una Emre. Arsenal have revived Yuri Tellerman's contract talks. We're looking at Djibril Sow. In fact, let me actually refresh the page and make sure. All right, cool. So yeah, it's quoted 60, 70 million euros for Onana. That's a lot. We're set to go for Caicedo in the summer. We're keeping tabs on Ollie Watkins. We've been linked with a swap deal involving either Tini or Zinchenko for Frenchman Theo Hernandez. We're keeping tabs on Dominic Calvert-Lewin. Xhaka and Pepe could be offered for Vlahovic. We're prepared to offer 100 million for Declan Rice, which is direct, completely different. Not so keen on Rice or him. He dissed us. Let's give Norton Coffee a chance. Not ready. 55 million for Rafinha. Not ready. Not ready for first team football. Not ready to participate in the Champions League or the league.